Hello and welcome to Thursday Night League Round 10 at Daytona Milton Keynes. This time we are on the link back cliff drop layout, and as you can see the track is quite, I'm going to say greasy rather than wet. It's quite sort of like damp in places but dry in places as well. So we have come out into our qualifying session and we can see there are quite a few karts in front as we right now just search for some grip to see what kind of works and what doesn't. Now normally in this situation I'd probably consider dropping back, getting some clean air and just going for a hot lap on my own, but in these conditions that it's so slippery and figuring out which lines are best, I decided to sort of just plough forward and try and make my way through the karts in front. I thought to have to overtake them I'd have to go offline, maybe I can find grip and in alternate places that I might not have considered. So as we're coming to the end of our first lap out of the pits, we can see we've sort of caught up to some more karts in front and sort of just try and see what works, because we do come into a yellow flag. Now this section here was always quite slippy, and I guess the incident's already got going because there is no longer a yellow in front, so it must be back to green again. But everyone is sort of in a long line, but you can see by the track there's a lot of dry places. So as we go to the inside of this corner here, because it is a bone dry on the inside round here compared to the conventional, if you're going to take the conventional wet line around the outside, so it's so much quicker just to do an inside line. And if at this hairpin here it was surprisingly dry under brakes as we get a lovely run out the corner and pick up another kart, and as you see in front there's a whole train of karts in front, and it's just going to be plod our way through. I mean, it is a 10-minute session, so we do have plenty of time, and basically once we've made our through here we will have clean air, but it's just sort of let's see what works, what doesn't work, and just learn right now. On a track that's always like this, it's just going to be a case of learning. Potentially the last lap will be your quickest. In this session that is the case, that is what happens. That's just solely because the track will just dry up and you'll get more tyre temperature as well and more grip. But see, coming into this final section now, it is starting to get quite drier again. Like you can make the apex here. The previous corner, that flat out left, was flat out. The final corner's pretty dry. So you send right up the inside, and a little bit of side pod contact there, a little bit rougher than I anticipated. But and then for this first corner, we gained loads of time there on the kart in front. This kart behind has a look at us as well, but someone span off in front. But it's just making me think, like, okay, well, there's much more grip or speed I can carry into that corner, and as we've just got everyone all around us right now, it's kind of just a melee as the kart in front waves us through. So now we've got a little bit more gap now. I mean, we will catch the karts in front. We are quicker than them. But again, we can just learn. You can always learn from other people as well. See what lines they do, what they don't do. So the kart in front there turned a bit earlier and got quite a bit of understeer, so we tried to elect to turn in a little bit later. Now this corner was always the wettest throughout the whole event. Still pretty much like wet line all around the outside really. And then this cliff drop section's so tricky. I feel like if you can get to the apex of that left you are laughing, but if not it's just quite slippy. As again we get a lovely run through this corner. And then the person waved us through, so we give them the thumbs up. And now we've got a little bit more space again. So now, even though it's quite greasy, this corner is still flat out. You scrub speed just from the kart sliding, but it is fully flat out. And the same with this right-hander here. It is dry lines, so it's fun. I just like these conditions. I like the conditions where the track's really slippy. Is it dry? Is it wet? Mixture of both. Because it's kind of like the best of both. It's like you get the speed of the dry, you get the sliding of the wet, but it's dry enough to be able to overtake and not be stuck on one wet line. So I think these are my favourite conditions. They're just, I guess they're just the most fun. Quite a few of the last races have kind of been similar to this, although I think this is the driest it's been compared to the last few events that I've done. Again, as we catch up to the car in front now, we've got quite a nice run on him. We know we're quite good on the brakes here, so we do just send it. We're a little bit hesitant initially, But in the end we do decide to go for it to get some clean air, and we've made our way through the traffic. So head down now. Hopefully we've learned what we need to do and what we shouldn't do, so let's see if we can get a good lap in. As we now start our fastest lap in qualifying, which is our last, so let's walk through it. So turn 1, dive to the inside curb and power through. It's the shorter line through, and it's so grippy through there right now. Turn 2 and 3, wet line, take the curb. Now this turn 4, it was really dry on the inside, so you kind of do like this weird sort of middle of the road, kind of get it stopped and sort of drive it through. Come up to this next corner again, the dry line's all the way around the inside here. It's just so much drier, and then everyone else has been running that line, so it has just got drier and drier and drier. Now coming into this next hairpin, there's a slight puddle on the inside, so you want to brake later and deeper just to avoid the apex a little bit, because otherwise you just pick up so much understeer. And up to now what is the wettest corner of the track, we want to go around the outside, just feather the throttle to make sure she's okay. And just get a good run through. Now cliff drop section, we want to brake a little bit earlier, not run too deep. We ran a little bit deep there, but not too bad, but the key is get to that tyres there like I did, that's where all the grip is. And now this corner you want to get on the throttle super early and carry all the speed up down the straight. Lucky the way that curb is on the exit, it will just push you back onto the track, so you can carry a lot more speed through it than you anticipate. And now we're pretty much on the dry section, so this corner here is flat out, basically do it as you do in the dry. And then same with this penultimate corner as well. There's a little bit of puddle on the curb, but it's not too bad. And then into the final corner is like normal, a little bit of lift to make sure you don't scrub off too much speed. And then over the line. So that is our fastest lap of the session. And it was indeed good enough for pole. We were about 2 seconds a lap quicker than everyone else in the lightweights. Heavyweights were slightly quicker than us though, so third fastest overall, but in our class, P1, as the race begins. Now we've got a good start here and we've got our inside line. Now I felt like we were quite quick. I didn't know the pace difference to the others, so we got a little bit more defensive initially, just not to get overtaken or leave the door open. And into this hairpin again, the dry line is this sort of semi-defensive line, so that kind of worked quite well. Now it's just head down, see if we can pull a gap. Again, the dry line is all the way around the inside that corner. You see already me and second are starting to gap third place, starting to pull away. And again, as he gets quite a good run through that corner there. Mason just picked up the throttle, just did that a lot better than me. He's coming into the wet section of the track now, just got to hang it around the outside. The car behind gets quite a bit of oversteer, which allows us just to pull away. And again, we're in our element now. We're happy days. We've done the hard bit. We've made it through. It's just head down and still full push though. I felt like we were quick compared to people in qualifying, just from how we were overtaking people. Though I didn't know the lap time delta. But in this series you do get a point for fastest lap, so the whole mentality right now is just every lap a quality lap. Head down and just go for it, see if we can pick up the extra point for fastest lap, and if we can push on and build a gap, then hopefully we can ensure the win will be ours. But I mean, talking of the win, it's only just finished lap 1 onto lap 2 now, so still a long way to go in this race. As we now come across our first yellow flag, we've got the marshals there fixing the tyre walls. Someone's obviously had a big off at turn 1. But we are through the yellow flag, but that will not be the last yellow flag of this session. Understandably so in these treacherous conditions. So skip forward now a little bit now to lap 5. We're starting to catch some of the back markers now, some traffic. Key here is just to be decisive and just get by, so around the outside gives us the inside for this hairpin, and away we go. The key is when you're just so much quicker, just got to get the move done straight away, otherwise you can easily fall into someone else's pace. So again, jump forward another lap, catching up to another back marker here, and this time we sort of go to the inside. We sort of just slowly feather the throttle, just not spin it, and just sort of just block off their line. Not gonna lie, that was more accident than planned. I was gonna go around the outside, but I was braking so much later, I kind of had to throw one up the inside there, but got the move done. So we go now on to lap 8 again, another car in front that we're slowly catching up. And again, you can see they've just spun around a little bit. It is just so slippy as we get another kart. And now we've gone into like this full course yellow now. We can see behind us and around us there is no one around. We've fully checked out. And there's a kart there in the tyre ball, and I believe that's the kart who started second, so I'm not too sure what happened to him. I don't know if he's been battling with other people, and a few laps later it does go back to green again on the penultimate lap, and nothing much happened after that point. Back onto the final lap now through the final corners, and we take the win, finishing P1. Good result, fun conditions, just very slippy. I love these conditions. They're just so good. So good points for the championship, and hopefully we can continue this good run and on to the next one.